So hello, good morning. And I was thinking to make this video to talk about more strategies, more possible strategies. And today I'm debating something interesting, which is the possibility of fund number 3. So far, with all the things I had studied, I had concluded, right, a proper way to see this problem is when you're investing, you can have different accounts, right, and associate a strategy to each account. And in the same way, people own a building, is the owner of a building that perhaps is struggling to get people to rent there, while other guy has the fortune, or because he bought it, or because she inherited a building, that is not struggling to find tenants, and that investment is heaven on earth because it's working, right? And in the same way, one of the things in life that you could own is strategies, and it's one of the reasons why I'm so happy with my business and the current choices I took, because that took me to be the owner of something, and that thing I own, if I spend the time needed to maintain that strategy rolling, that thing is gonna grow. And if your strategy is good, it's gonna be a high return. And then if you have a very nice strategy, but also the markets are bullish, and some unexpected things out of your control happen related with the growth of the stocks you choose, the returns are going to be even higher in that strategy, right? And today I wanted to speak about the idea of fund number 3, which I'm tempted to move it to my fund number 2, which is a combination of short with long investments, right? And I'm tempted to delete that because I don't want to focus in short investing, and just move it to be fund number 2. However, what we are going to talk today is about the idea of fund number 3. A little disclaimer before going into that: I got an advice lately, which is entrepreneurs tend to become addict to create multiple products, right? And a good entrepreneur, what he does is that he focuses and have the first product perfectly calibrated before jumping into other products. And that's the reason why I focus currently, my focus is on fund number 1, which is only long bets. It's investing, right? And then short investing, I don't have the time to really dive into it, but I'm trying, right? I've been reading books about short investing. I'm been trying to do it. However, the reason why today I want to talk about fund number 3 is because it's also a long investor's approach, and also it will contain many valuable lessons along the way while I explain it, which I consider are worth sharing. So, as you know, the fund number 1 I started. No, okay, the marker is not working fine. So fund number 1 I started is inspired in Warren Buffett, and many might see this as a cliche thing. Oh, another guy studying Warren Buffett. Well, he's a very good source to study the subject. And something special I found lately about Warren Buffett is his relationship with Charlie Munger. And from the history of this relationship, there's an important lesson to extract, which is Warren Buffett liked very undervalued businesses, like myself. I'm buying very undervalued businesses. That's the strategy of fund number 1. I have businesses for 20 cents on the dollar, for 40 cents on the dollar. Okay, if I buy a business for 90 cents on the dollar, it's because it's a big dividend payer, things like that. But I'm very like a value investor in that fund and undervalued businesses. However, then Charlie Munger appeared, and he changed the philosophy of Warren Buffett, which was, I like undervalued businesses with low PE ratio, as the professor Benjamin Graham defended. And Munger convinced him to move his strategy to buying higher PE stocks. So buying bigger businesses that are huge and I don't know, $50 billion businesses, Apple, Microsoft, right? Stocks that usually a guy like myself will never buy because those are so overvalued, so exaggerated in the market valuation. But Charlie Munger convinced Buffett to do that. And I'm mentioning this because the idea of fund number 3 would be to do that. In case some people out there might like that approach more than what I defend, which is fund number 1. Okay, but in some way, Charlie Munger convinced Warren Buffett of creating a separate fund with a different strategy. We could say it that way, or to be more precise, he basically completely changed the strategy of Berkshire Hathaway, and they just changed the fund itself. I defend that the smart thing to do is to create separate funds. So if one strategy fails because you're wrong, or because the markets go the other way, you still own the other strategies, right? In the same way you can own multiple buildings, okay? You diversify your investments, but not buying multiple stocks. You create multiple funds, and each fund is diversified in its own way. But what I'm trying to say is that fund number 3, the idea could be using the strategy of fund number 1 to preserve capital, to preserve the buying power of the money in that fund, and after that, the fund number 3 will have a big difference with fund number 1, which is gonna be really doing our deep research to understand if very high PE stocks like Apple, Microsoft, and other high quality businesses that already are proving that they have a massive growth, go into a considerably low PE ratio. Let's say normally these stocks trade at a PE of 20 or 25, or like Tesla about 40, or like Nvidia about 80. You know, if we go into insane ranges. And I was right. Like many videos ago, I was talking about the possibility of shorting Nvidia, and look how they lost. I think how many $1 billion in a few days. It was crazy. Okay, so but going back to focus on the subject. So the fund number 3 will focus on seeing if these very high quality business and blue chip stocks get into a lower PE, and after preserving the capital using undervalued businesses, which sometimes are mid-cap businesses, other times are low-cap businesses, other times, like my investment in Petrobras was an $100 billion business, okay? And I did over 60% returns with that one, so no problem, right? But it was valuable. So what I'm saying is that after preserving the capital in fund number 3, if Apple goes into a depressed state, if the stock starts plummeting because the price starts correcting, perhaps it's a good time to buy Apple at a PE of 8. You know, and the big lesson comes now. Myself, I think that if I try to find analysts to work in fund number 3, you know, it's gonna be much easier than to find analysts that have the intelligence and the common sense to work in fund number 1. Because the world out there and the market is a lot of, I won't say stupid people, perhaps they just think differently, that they're chasing shiny objects. So you're gonna find so many analysts willing to talk about Apple and talk about Microsoft and talk about many companies they feel excited about, right? But perhaps it's gonna be very hard to find analysts that could cover small cap stocks, $400 million market cap stocks, and some stocks that some people don't want to cover, making markets inefficient. And that's why I made the statement that perhaps it will be easy to find workers and people willing to work in fund number 3. Okay, because they feel bullish about all these stupid stocks. But that's it. That's the video for today. And last thing I was thinking to say, I study other managers, other investors, and one was complaining. I was an investor in Netflix, and one of the mistakes I did is that I sold it too soon, right? And myself, I laugh at that statement because of course you sold it too soon. Because in some way, when the stock price rises and go into a ridiculous level, you just sell it away because you have no idea what's the price tag of that. It's like it becomes like a Gucci bag. It's not a stock anymore. It's luxurious product, a shiny product that many people like to buy at a ridiculous price. So he was complaining that I lost the chance of having in my storage not Gucci bags, but all these stocks of Nvidia, Netflix, which I could use to rip off. I don't know how much it was in the bike. I don't know. In the case of Apple stock, rip off $300 out of stupid Americans or stupid people buying Apple, because somebody likes to pay $300 for that bullshit, right? And he was complaining that he lost the chance of having that, right? But it makes sense. If you're a value investor, what you do is you exit because it's a ridiculous price and you get your money into something undervalued. That's the cycle of your money, right? I buy discount, I sell a fair price or over fair price if I hold it a little bit, and then I recycle the money and I get it back into undervalued businesses. And that's how I grow, right? That's how fund number 1 grows. But if you want to become a commerce guy that just has a lot of Gucci bags and Apple stock and Netflix stock, go ahead. Perhaps you will make money with that. But it's like a Gucci bag. If the Gucci bag is selling 800 and you sell it 800 and then goes up to 1,000 and you say, oh my God, I did a mistake. Why I didn't sell the Gucci bag $1,000? Okay, then the price fluctuates, and when it goes to 800, you have many speculators and commerce people that say, okay, Gucci bags at 800, okay, let's start buying and see if we can resell them at 1,000, right? So they go that and they make that speculation, and perhaps they succeed at it, because the Gucci bag sells very expensive sometimes, but it's not a matter of value anymore. It's a matter of shiny object syndrome, right? And other factors. What I'm trying to say is that value investors think differently. They buy the discount. But what could change the results of fund number 3, because I like to have humility and admit that perhaps I'm wrong. So fund number 3, what it will do is it will focus in not releasing those stocks. First, on preserving the capital using value investing, because thanks to value investing you can buy price stable stocks that only can bounce up, that hardly go cheaper. And after you preserve the capital, this fund will buy very high quality blue chip stocks when these go down in price, if they go down in price. If those never go down in price, we will never buy them. We'll just hold the strategy of fund number 1 within fund number 3. And then this fund will tend to hold these investments. We will not release them. We will sell them when they are a Gucci bag, right? And that's the suspicion I have, and that's why I think it's worthwhile to do this fund in honor of Charlie Munger, that he liked to buy more expensive businesses, right? And yeah, this is simply a proposition I'm making. It's just one more product. If people like to buy it, they will buy it and they will pour money into this idea. If not, I'm going to continue doing what I currently do, which is promoting fund number one, okay, and just sticking with that strategy because I'm satisfied with it and it grows and it's reliable, okay. So what I sell is fund number one. That's what I like. That's what I use for myself. However, if what I said makes sense and you like to invest like Charlie Munger, okay, we can do fund number three with that approach. And then fund number two, I don't know if I'm going to delete it. I don't really feel attracted towards short investing. A last thing I could say before finishing the video, recommend you this book, The Art of Short Selling. It's been very enjoyable. I had been reading it. And one idea I took from here, which is quite good, is that in some way short sellers, despite they might not make a lot of money, they are interesting and they are valuable for society, because a market without short sellers, and this is from this book, is like a country without free press, right? They are like writers, like in the journals, in the newspapers, that they create incentives for themselves to want to write all the bad things a company has. You know, short sellers take a position against the company, and then if the price of that company declines, they benefit from it, right? So they have an incentive to denounce, like free press, to denounce when something is corrupt, when something is going bad, when a company is scamming people or have a business model that is bullshit, right? Or they will do horribly, but they're trying to hide it, right? And short sellers are like free press, are like journalists, and this is from this book, right? And you want to have short sellers because it's like having a free press. Okay, so that's the video for today. This is the book recommendation of the day. I'm very happy with this recommendation I received, and I enjoy reading this a lot. A second thing, and we'll finish the video, is my book, Value Investing. And if we compare this with this, I don't like this because I never heard of somebody that started a successful career at investing short selling. Nobody starts on this side, you know. Their first investment is a short. Human beings usually need this to start, you know. Many of the successful investors I know, when they tell you their story, you know, they were young and they bought something long and it tripled in price, or it went over 50% up, like in my case. You know, it's always the same story, and they go for long investments, you know, not short. Okay, so perhaps this book is much better to start, but this one is very good too. Okay, so goodbye and have a great week.